Hey everyone. I said that I would do an informative session on intuitive eating. I have an intuitive eating course coming up that begins Wednesday, May 7th at noon. It will last for 10 weeks, every Wednesday at noon, on intuitive eating. And intuitive eating is something I have learned about in the last many months, kind of getting back to being an intuitive eater like we were when we were little. And it has been truly transformative for me and many, many others. And it's evidence-based. Um, the principles and the book are written by two registered dietitians and nutrition counselors. And it's just really wonderful. And so I wanted to share it with you. So, like I said, this is just brief and informative. I just thought I would introduce the principles during this time. And if you want to be part of the course, there's still a few spots left. Like I said, that begins May 7th. I can drop the link. I'm going to post this link to YouTube on Facebook. And where I post that, I will also post the link to sign up if you want to for that upcoming course, which I think will be transformational for you also. So, to begin, like I said, this is the book, Intuitive Eating. You might be seeing it backwards, but uh, and I wanted to go over the principles with you for the course. This book is not required. This is a long book that really goes deep into intuitive eating. So for the course, that one is not required. The book that is required for the course is this one, the Intuitive Eating Workbook, the second edition, um, because this workbook can be done on its own. So I'm only suggesting this one if you want to go a little deeper, but the workbook is what is required for the course. Uh, and the information is about that on the link to sign up for the course. So you can get that one on Amazon, or I can get it for you. So let me just start by telling you about the principles that go along with intuitive eating. Um, so the first principle that is talked about is rejecting the diet mentality. So just having that anti-diet approach. They show evidence in their book that talk about how dieting is just not healthy for us. And that really, for me, I really related to that as an individual who has dieted a lot and also as a nurse. It really all made sense to me. And I really only get on board with things if there is research to support these changes when, especially related to health. And so, as a nurse and a researcher, I find that very, very important. And so rejecting that diet mentality because it's not healthy for us, for our bodies to be losing weight and then gaining it and losing weight and gaining it and losing weight and gaining it. It's hard on our whole system holistically. It's hard on our organs. It's not ideal, very unhealthy and and just rough on us. So rejecting that diet mentality. We have a culture that focuses on diet in our society and the importance of being a certain size or a certain weight. Uh, the body mass index in itself in our healthcare system really does not help our whole situation about the diet culture. So, throwing out those diet books, and I'm reading stuff directly from the intuitive eating book and throwing out magazine articles that offer you the false hope of losing weight quickly, easily, and permanently. So that's that first principle of rejecting that diet mentality. You're getting angry at diet culture that promotes weight loss and the lies that have led us to feel as if we're a failure every time a new diet is stopped working and you gain back all of the weight. If you allow even one small hope to linger that a new and better diet or food plan might be lurking around the corner, it will prevent you from being free to rediscover intuitive eating. So I love that word rediscover, because we knew as little children how to be intuitive eaters, and we're just these steps, these principles just help us get back to how to intuitively eat, how to use our inner feelings and wisdom to do that, psychologically and physiologically. And then number two is honor your hunger. Keep your body biologically fed with adequate energy and carbohydrates. Yes, carbohydrates. Those carbohydrates feed our brain. Our brain needs carbohydrates. Um, and otherwise, if we don't listen to our bodies and the need for food, we can trigger a primal drive to overeat. So once we reach the moment of excessive hunger, all intentions of moderate conscious eating are fleeting and irrelevant. Learning to honor this first biological signal sets the stage for rebuilding trust in ourself and in food. And then principle number three, I'm going to go through these quickly just because I just want to give you an idea of what intuitive eating is about, because people think, oh, it's just, oh, throw everything out and, no more, it's anti-diet. We can eat whatever we want. Well, yes and no. Okay. Principle number three, make peace with food. So call a truce. Stop that food fight. Give yourself unconditional permission to eat. I know it sounds crazy. If you tell yourself that you can't or shouldn't have a particular food, it can lead to intense feelings of deprivation. So it's that restriction, restricting ourselves from things. That's why diets don't work. They they just stop working because we're depriving ourselves of something. Um, so intense feelings of deprivation that build into uncontrollable cravings and often binging. When you finally give into your forbidden foods, eating will be experienced with such intensity, it usually results in Last Supper overeating and overwhelming guilt. And and we don't want that. So we need to make peace with food. And in my course, I'll go into these much deeper so they'll be easier to understand. And the workbook goes into it deeper too. And then principle number four, there's 10 of these. It's challenge the food police. That's right. So scream a loud no to thoughts in your head that declare you're good for eating minimal calories or bad because you ate a piece of chocolate cake. The food police monitor the unreasonable rules that diet culture has created. The police station is housed deep in your psyche, and its loud speaker shouts negative barbs, hopeless phrases, and guilt-provoking indictments. Chasing the food police away is a critical step in returning to intuitive eating. So we need to let those guilty feelings go and not restrict ourselves. And like I said, it sounds, you know, it might sound just like impossible. Like if I just eat, I'm going to gain weight. And well, we're not focusing on weight. We're focusing on being healthy. And if we restrict things, we're going to tend to overeat almost always, eventually. So if you're on a diet and you're restricting things, you're eventually going to overeat at some point, which defeats the purpose. And I don't even like the word overeat, which neither does Elise, who's one of the authors of this book, who I meet with every couple of weeks. And her and I are talking about intuitive eating, and she's helping me learn more so that I can show all of you uh, how great this works. And so rather than overeating, it's a feeling of, oh, well, I feel overly full, and that's okay. And just recognize that feeling, be aware of it so that you know for next time. And then discover the satisfaction factor. That's principle number five. So the Japanese have the wisdom to keep pleasure as one of their goals of healthy living. In our compulsion to comply with diet culture, we often overlook one of the most basic gifts of existence, the pleasure and satisfaction that can be found in the eating experience. When you eat what you really want in an environment that is inviting, the pleasure you derive will be a powerful force in helping you feel satisfied and content. So we have so many guilty feelings around eating, many of us do. And so finding that satisfaction factor is really an important principle. And then principle number 6, feel your fullness. I already brought this up a little bit. But in order to honor your fullness, you need to trust that you will give yourself the foods that you desire. Listen for the body signals that tell you that you are no longer hungry and observe the signs that show that you're comfortably full. Pause in the middle of eating and ask yourself how the food tastes and what your current hunger level is. Now, I've done this. Like I've been eating and I'm chatting with people and I realize, oh goodness, I'm kind of just eating and not paying attention. And so I'll stop before my plate is empty and I'll sit back and I'll think to myself while I'm still visiting, I wonder if I feel full or if I need to keep going for what my body needs. And I'm finding that sometimes I keep eating because I feel like I need to eat more. And other times I think, now that I've slowed down, I can really tell physiologically that I'm full and I don't need any more food at this time. So that has been a journey for me, and I'm still working on that one too. And then principle 7, cope with your emotions with kindness. First, recognize that food restriction, both physically and mentally, can in of itself trigger loss of control, what can feel like emotional eating. Find kind ways to comfort, nurture, distract, and resolve your issues. Anxiety, loneliness, boredom, and anger are emotions we all experience throughout life. So, recognizing that some of us do eat emotionally for different reasons, like listed here, the boredom, distraction, anxiety, whatever it might be. And so you may reach this point in this principle and realize that you're starting to feel some emotions that come along with not eating past your over your fullness. And if that comes up for you, it's time to evaluate that and maybe seek out a coach, maybe seek out therapy for whatever is going on and help you work through that. For some people, this step is not hard because they don't feel like they're people who eat emotionally. But for others, this might be a pause where you work through that. So that's principle number 7. Principle number 8, respect your body. Accept your genetic blueprint. Just as a person with a shoe size of 8 would not expect to realistically squeeze into a size 6, it is equally futile and uncomfortable to have a similar expectation about body size. But mostly respect your body so you can feel better about who you are. It's hard to reject that diet mentality if you are unrealistic and critical of your body size or shape. All bodies deserve dignity. So let's keep that in mind. Our culture, our society makes us feel like we need to look a certain way, that we need to weigh a certain weight, that certain things about us need to look perfect. And we have the pressure all over in our culture, in our society, and reminding ourselves that we are perfect in our own right, right? We don't need to hang on to those clothes that we hope we'll fit into someday. We don't need to wait, lose 20 pounds before that event coming up, that wedding, that having a beach body. Um, that one just really rings true to me, Principle 8, and that respecting our body. It's body positivity, yes, but it's also accepting just where we are, not worrying about what the scale says, pushing those scales aside and saying, through learning intuitive eating and getting through those principles, you will fill your body with what it needs in a way that is healthy. And your size does not matter. How you look to society does not matter. You accept yourself where you are and know that you're giving your body what it needs. So principle number 9, movement, feel the difference. So rather than talk about exercise and really working out hard, it's movement. It's how does our body feel when we don't move? How does our body feel when we move? So forget militant exercise. Just get active and feel the difference. Shift your focus to how it feels, to move your body rather than the calorie burning effect of exercise. If you focus on how you feel from working out, such as energized, it can make the difference between rolling out of bed for a brisk morning walk or hitting the snooze alarm. So just keep that principle number 9 in mind. It's about movement. Okay. It's not about burning those calories. It's about, I know I'm over 50 now and I get some aches, like my hips will get sore and I notice that when I move more, I get a walk in or do a little bit of yoga or some stretching, I feel better because I've got some movement and I've done what my body needs. And then principle number 10, the final principle is honor your health, gentle nutrition. Make food choices that honor your health and taste buds while making you feel good. Remember that you don't have to eat perfectly to be healthy. You will not suddenly get a nutrient deficiency or become unhealthy from one snack, one meal, or one day of eating. It's what you eat consistently over time that matters. Progress, not perfection, is what counts. So keep that in mind. It's not perfection. We're not going to be perfect, even with these principles. It is anti-diet. This is not a new diet. Don't look at it that way. It is not. It's just understanding principles to get us back to where we remind ourselves how to eat intuitively. And so those are the 10 principles of intuitive eating. Like I said, I'll get into those deeper in the workbook in the course. The course will involve us meeting together, having discussion about what we learned in our workbook that week, and it should really be informative as we learn from each other in this process. I too am still going through the process of learning to be my best self and intuitively eat. And I think that you would enjoy the course and it has a lot to offer. So thank you so much for checking out my video on in information on intuitive eating, going over those 10 principles. And like I said, there's much more to them. This is just an introduction. So I hope you have a lovely day. I hope that I see you in the course coming up next week. And take care and be well.